Radhe Radhe. I'm pleased to introduce Sushree Diwakari Devi Ji, who serves as the president of JKP, Jagadguru Kripalu Radha Madhav Dham. Sushree Diwakari Devi Ji has studied the deepest aspects of the philosophy of our Sanskrit scriptures and devotional music of India under the guidance of Shree Kripaluji Maharaj, and received Vaishnav sanyas in the year 1996. Since then, she has been providing inspiring satsangs throughout the United States and other countries, including New Zealand and Ireland. Didiji's charming and uplifting speeches awaken the mind and stir the soul, while her Nam Sankirtan enters deep in the hearts of listeners, inspiring them with devotional love for Radha Krishna. We ask you to please listen attentively to her discourse. Kindly turn off your mobile phones. If you have small kids, you can listen to the pravachan outside in the sitting room, and kindly give your attention to Didiji. Radhe Radhe.
श्रीमद् सद्गुरु सरकार की, श्रीमद् युगल सरकार की, प्यारी प्यारी अम्मा की। अज्ञान तिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जन शलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। आनन्दमानन्द कर प्रसन्नम् प्रेमस्वरूपम् ब्रजभावयुक्तम् योगीन्द्रमीड्यम् भवरोग वैद्यम् गुरुं कृपालुं प्रणमामि नित्यम्। गुरुं कृपालुं प्रणमामि नित्यम्। गुरुं कृपालुं प्रणमामि नित्यम्। नयनं गलदश्रुधारया वदनं गद्गद रुद्धया गिरा पुलकैर्निचितं वपुः कदा तव नाम ग्रहणे भविष्यति यो ब्रह्माणं विदधाति पूर्वं यो वै वेदांश्च प्रहिणोति तस्मै तग्वंह देवमात्मबुद्धिप्रकाशम् मुमुक्षुर्वै शरणमहं प्रपद्ये। Respected devotees of Sri Maharaj Ji, respected viewers, Radhe Radhe. Please join me in chanting for a few minutes. गोविंद गोविंद गोपाल राधे कृष्ण गोविंद गोपाल राधे कृष्ण गोविंद 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 राधे गोविंद 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 राधे 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 गोविंद गोविंद पाल राधे कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद गोपाल राधे कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद गोपाल राधे कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद गोपाल राधे कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद राधे 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 गोविंद Radhe Krishna Govinda Govinda Gopal 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 Radhe Krishna Govinda Govinda Radhe 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 Krishna Govinda Govinda Gopal 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 Radhe Krishna Govinda Govinda बोलिए श्री राधा कृष्ण भगवान की जय। Spiritually inclined souls. Grace and only grace is the topic of my lectures. The Vedas and the Puranas use this word grace extensively. As individuals, we also use it in our daily life. And all the religions unanimously declare that God bestows grace. So let us explore its essence and try and understand who can actually bestow grace. Grace means favor without expecting anything in return. For example, a mother, she serves her newborn child in every possible way. She nurtures the child, feeds the child, does everything for the child and expects nothing in return. In fact, the child is incapable of doing anything on its own. And so whatever the mother does can be termed as grace. Nonetheless, this is not grace in the true sense. However, it can be understood to a certain extent. Truly speaking, grace is causeless and it is selfless. And this is something that is impossible to comprehend in the world, because anything that we do has a motive behind. Any action that we take has a motive or an expectation. So in this example, the mother also tries to derive happiness and satisfaction by serving her child. And the same mother, she inherently expects and hopes that when she grows old, that her child will take care of her. So sometimes the motive is hidden and not apparent. Eventually, any action that we take has a motive. There is an interest. There's a self-interest. Simply because we have not yet experienced true happiness, which is unlimited, and until such time as we experience that happiness, we will continue to expect or to have some motive behind anything and everything that we do. So only those who have attained that perfect happiness, that unlimited happiness, that immeasurable happiness, can serve selflessly and causelessly. Thus, only saints and God can serve the souls selflessly and causelessly. Most of the time when we speak, when we talk of God and saints conferring grace upon us, we refer to all of those favors done in regards to material achievements, such as being blessed with a son, or we beg for a lucrative job, pass an examination, etc. But why would they give us anything that will only further entangle us? Would they do anything like that that will only entangle us in the world? Will these material things detach us or make us further attached? Goswami Tulsidas Ji has described in the Ramayana, Nahi ko as janma jagmahi prabhuta pai jahi madanahi. After achieving material gains, there is no individual in the world who can remain unintoxicated. How hard it is for a rich man, a wealthy person, to enter the kingdom of God. For it is easier. It is easy for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God. So why would God and saints give us anything that will take us or keep us away from God? Think about it. So all of our failures, all of our achievements, all of our accomplishments or disappointments are the outcome of our own actions. That's it. God simply witnesses our actions and passes on the outcomes to us. That's all he does. So truly speaking, grace is associated with the soul, I, self, Atma. Not the body. A mother, a worldly mother, can take care of the child's body, not the soul. So grace really and truly means divinizing the senses, mind, and intellect, and granting that individual soul, or any individual soul for that matter, God's love. So in essence, granting material possessions is not grace. Granting divine love to elevate and to uplift is grace. Let's think about what the scriptures tell us. There are 3 types of good fortune. 3 types of good fortune which correspond to 3 types of God's grace. First is special grace. First is grace, rather. Second is special grace. And the third is miraculous grace. So those individuals with fewer virtues, they receive a certain measure of grace. Those with a greater number of virtues, they receive both grace and special grace. And finally, those with abundant virtues, they attain all 3. And these 3 graces are exceedingly rare, very rare. And they are not found in 1 out of 1,000, nor in 1 out of 100,000, nor in 1 out of 1,000,000, or even 1,000,000,000. These graces are bestowed upon one among an immeasurable number. Such is the scarcity of these graces. Yes. So, as Adi Jagadguru Shankaracharya describes, Durlabham trayamevaitat daivanugrahakarakam manusyatvam mumukshutvam mahapurusha sambhavah ati durlabhatino govindaradhe naratanu shraddha guru sharana batade. So being granted a human birth is the first grace. Let us reflect on what the scriptures have to say. Let us start with the Vedas. Tameva viditva ti mrityumeti nanyah pantha vidyate yanaya. Shvetashvataropanishad. The knowledge of God is the only possible means for the soul, or for the individual soul, to transcend the limitations of Maya. There's no other way possible. The Vedas further tell us, Amritasya Vaiputraha. All souls are the children of God. Nonetheless, except for humans, Namanusham vinanyatra tattva jnanam tulabhyate. Except for humans, no individual soul is capable of receiving or attaining the knowledge of God, which is why the Vedas issue a warning. Iha cheda vedi datha satyamasti na chediha vedin mahati vinashtihi. Kena Upanishad. O souls, you have received a precious human body. Do not waste your time frivolously. Instead, strive to attain your supreme goal of divine love realization, else, as a consequence, or as a grave consequence, you will inflict great harm upon yourself. And what is it? So the Vedas further tell us, Ihache dashagad bodhum praksharirasya visrasah tatah sargeshu lokeshu sharirattvaya kalpate. Kathopanishad. That the harm that we will inflict upon ourselves is that we will rotate endlessly in the cycle of life and death for an unimaginable length of time that we can't even fathom. Is beyond our comprehension. And therefore, the Vedas again tell us, Uttishtata jagrata prapya varan nibodhata. Utho jago, arise, awake, and seek the association of saints and acquire divine knowledge. Let us look into the Bhagavatam. Bhagavan Vedavyas tells us, Durlabho manusho deho dehinam kshanabhangurah. Human body, human birth is extremely difficult to attain. Durlabham manusham janma prarthyate tridashairapi. Narad Puran. All living beings, they aspire for this human body. It's so rare. Namanusha shreshthataram hi kinchit. Why? Because there's no other form of life such as the human body out of the 8.4 million species of living beings. Janmantara sahasrestu manushyatvam hi durlabham. After so many countless births, does one secure and attain a human birth. So Vedavyas again tells us in the Bhagavatam, Nidehamadyam sulabham sudurlabham plavam sukalpam guru karnadharam mayanukule nana bhasvateritam puman bhavabdhim natarets atmaha. You are equipped with a human body, this competent vessel in the form of this human body. My grace is a favorable wind and a worthy preceptor, a divine guide. Despite receiving these three, if one does not attempt to glorify this human life, then they are a true slayer of their soul. That's what Vedavyasji tells us. And this verse has been translated by Goswami Tulsidarji. Naratanu bhava varidhi kahu bero sanmukha maruta anugraha mero karanadhar Sadguru dridhanava duralabha saj sulabha karipava. This human body is a veritable raft, and God's grace is a favorable wind. To steer this mighty raft, the helmsman, the preceptor, the guide, the guru. And though this combination has been made so easily available, it is so easily available, but it is also very rare. It is very rare. And therefore, Goswami Tulsidarji again tells us, Kabahuk kari karuna nar dehi det ish binu hetu sanehi. God, who loves the souls selflessly, rarely bestows a human birth. And that's why Adi Jagadguru Shankaracharya tells us, Durlabham trayamevaitat daivanugrahakarakam manushyatvam mumukshutvam mahapurusha sambhavah manujadehamimam bhuvi durlabham samadhigam yasurai rapivanchitam vishayalam patitam apahaya vai bhajatare manujah kamalapatim. So he tells us after millions and millions of births, we have received this precious life. And instead of chasing material trinkets, leading this life in pursuit of material pleasures, strive instead to attain the highest and the greatest and the ultimate divine experience. This is what the scriptures tell us from the Vedas to the Ramayana. Now let us talk about our own daily experience. These days on social media, there are so many videos that feature people rescuing animals like dogs and horses from terrible conditions where they suffer cruelty and starvation. It is so gratifying and heartwarming to see the kindness offered to these animals after they're rescued. Another video with millions of views of a beautiful, well-groomed dog. Yes. Bringing a pair of wings. Yes, wings. To her owner and begging them for them to be put on her. And then this dog prances in front of the mirror, admiring her decoration. It makes you happy to watch this charming creature, but what is the lesson for us sadhaks? What are we really seeing? What is it that we're seeing? Simply put, these souls, these animals, are receiving and enduring their karma that they earned from those actions that they performed as human beings. And because of those actions, they have been returned once again to the animal kingdom, where they live only on instinct, where they have lost their free will, where they don't have the luxury to perform new actions or new karmas for their personal betterment, where they have no chance to make any spiritual progress whatsoever. And on the flip side, Bade bhag manush tanu pava sura duralabh sadgranthani gava. And on the flip side, even celestial beings whom some people out of sheer ignorance worship and adore. Celestial beings with their divine, fragrant bodies, free from perspiration, from excreta, from other impurities, they aspire for our human body. Yes. They're radiant and fragrant and body full of magical features is perfect compared to the limitations of our human body. Yes. So why do they covet our body, the human body? Why? The answer lies in karmas. Celestial gods, they enjoy the rewards of their past virtuous actions. Yes, but they lack the ability to perform new actions. So Sri Maharaji gives us an example, just as if you work for 10 years and earn $100,000 and tuck those dollars away in the bank, and once you stop working, you make withdrawals every month of $5,000. After 20 trips to the bank, 20 months, your money is exhausted. And if you go back to the bank expecting to withdraw more, you will be turned away because your account is empty. In the same way, celestial gods, they reside in the celestial abode temporarily, and they spend the fruits or the reward of their past virtuous actions. But as soon as their merits exhaust, they become exhausted, then they must leave. In contrast, the human life offers the opportunity to perform new actions and earn spiritual merit. And this is what the celestial gods desire. They desire this, what we have, the privilege that we have. They desire to engage in sadhana so they can also reach and attain their goal of divine love realization. So this human body that we have is the highest and the greatest and the rarest among the 8.4 million species of living beings. So we already have the first grace, the human birth. Yes, we already have it, and it's the highest material life. Yes. And consider those animals around us: dogs, cats, donkeys, buffaloes, cows, and birds. Yes. These animals spend their life desperately searching for food and water. Yes. They're desperately, and even wild animals, they too run tirelessly in pursuit of survival. Sometimes their hunger is met and sometimes it is not met. Yes. And a deer may be peacefully prancing in the jungle, and what happens? Bang! It gets attacked by a lion who devours it. Yes. There's no police or military. They're so utterly helpless, these creatures. There's no police or military to protect them. No, none whatsoever. They don't have that, what we have. A buffalo, a thirsty buffalo, might approach a water hole, unaware of a crocodile lurking beneath the surface. So what happens? It catches it by the leg, drags it into the water, and eats it. And the poor buffalo had gone to quench its thirst for survival. And what happened? So this cycle of struggle and survival, it keeps being repeated in the animal kingdom. Yes, in the animal kingdom. And the predators, they consume the prey. And larger predators, they hunt those lower on the chain. Just like the larger fish, they eat the smaller ones. That's what happens. So this cycle of struggle is a stark contrast to human life. We, as humans, we have clothes, we have water, we have shelter, we have food, and all of this. And most of us also save hundreds and thousands for the future of our children. Yes. For the future of our children. So as humans, we have been positioned to have means beyond mere survival. Yes. And it's a profound blessing which we often take for granted. Sri Maharaji tells us how precious our human life is. Time and time and time again, Sri Maharaji tells us. Over and over again, we hear about the 8.4 million species and how our birth, the human birth, is most extraordinary. It is so special. We're so blessed because this human birth is the only chance, is the gateway leading to liberation. It is the only hope to reach God, over and over and over again. But when we hear this philosophy so often, sometimes it starts to lose its meaning. And it becomes repetitive. It becomes repetitive. However, if we deepen our understanding through contemplation and practice, we can shift our focus towards gratitude and appreciation. So let me give you some perspective. Sri Maharaji tells us our body is extremely rare. Yes. Did you know that there are 900,000 different kinds of insects in our world? Scientists estimate that there are 2 billion insects for every person in this world. Take the humble ant. There are 20 quadrillion ants in this world. And that is 20,000 trillion ants. Whereas there are a mere 7.8 billion people in this world. Considering all the living beings are souls, from plants to animals to bugs to celestial gods, it really makes you think about the specialness, quote unquote, of just receiving a human birth. Just receiving a human birth. Sri Maharaji forges us forward on the path of devotion, reminding us repeatedly that time is running out, time is short. Yes. And that we should give up our negligence. We should grow up. We should get our act together. Because time is short. The Vedas, so here's some perspective on that as well. The Vedas tell us that there are 4 ages: Satyug, Dwapar Yug, Treta Yug, and Kali Yug. This age that we're in, Kali. Okay. So while each age or yuga has its own characteristics, let us consider one now: the average lifespan. So the average human lifespan in Satyug is 100,000 years. In Dwapar Yug, 10,000 years. In Treta Yug, 3,000 years. And in Kali Yug, in this age, a lucky few may live up to 100 years. And think about this. The celestial gods, they envy us. Yes. And the greatest, most superior pinnacle of existence, which is only for human beings, is to attach our heart and mind to God, to the divine, and leave behind this material world that we've been wandering in since time immemorial. Yes. So, the first grace, receiving a human birth. And the second grace, is synonymous with an indispensable personality in our journey to the divine. In our journey to the divine. If we are fortunate enough to meet a saint in our lifetime, that is considered a special grace. A special grace. And here's a story for you. Once a drop that was part of a vast ocean found itself being carried aloft by the wind to the lofty heights of the clouds. Initially exhilarated by its newfound perspective, this drop began to perceive flaws in the vast expanse of the ocean that was nestled in the sagar's lap. But this euphoria was short-lived. For one fateful day, the cloud cast the drop into a murky drain, shattering all its dreams and aspirations in an instant. And this cycle of ascent and descent repeated itself relentlessly, with the drop descending as rain, only to be swept skyward by the sun's rays back into the clouds. With each journey, the yearning for the ocean grew more intense. And the pain of separation, it became more and more unbearable day after day. But one fortunate day, the drop found itself cradled in the embrace of a river, guided by its flowing currents back to the ocean. So upholding the vast expanse of the ocean once again, the drop poured out its heart in humble supplication. It cried. And what did it say? "O ocean, my refuge, my refuge. I am ashamed of my past transgressions. Separated from you, I have known no peace whatsoever, shedding tears of anguish day and night. I beseech you, please accept me once again in your divine embrace." So to this, the ocean responded with boundless compassion. "O drop," the ocean said tenderly, "you know not the depth of my longing for you. I have awaited your return since the moment you first danced with the wind. And it was I who sent the river to bring you back to me. Now come into my embrace, for you and I are one. Come into my embrace." So hearing these words, the drop surrendered itself completely, merging seamlessly in the vast expanse of the ocean. And in that moment of reunion, the drop found its true identity. Now it was no longer just a drop, but an integral part of the ocean. So the message here is, just like the drop, we too have wandered far from our spiritual source, unaware of the depth of our longing and the ceaseless yearning of the divine for us. For us, yes. So through the help, through the guidance of a guru, a true spiritual guide, we can navigate the waters of existence and make our way back to the embrace of our divine beloved. So encountering a divine personality is the special grace of God. The Vedas describe Pariksha lokan karmachitan brahmano nirveda maya nasya kritah kritena tad vijnanartham saguru meva bhigachet samit panihi shrotriyam brahmanishtham. So, if one finds such a Mahapurush, such a divine personality who has experienced, who has realized God, and who has or who knows exactly how to attain God, how to reach God, yes, then that is God's special grace. And it is not a random occurrence, mind you. It is the result of our past virtuous actions, plus the divine mercy and the divine grace of God. There are so many people in the world today who are unaware of this opportunity. In the United States and even in India, there are hundreds of millions of people who have no idea how to realize God. They don't know anything about how to realize God. People, they renounce the world and take up some kind of spiritual practice, but without the guidance of a genuine spiritual guide, all such efforts prove to be futile. They never lead such an individual to their final goal. And preachers these days in the world, what do they preach? They tell naive, simple people, what do they tell them? They recommend counting the rosary, the beads on rosary, or they suggest studying or reading some religious text or visiting a place of pilgrimage. And while these practices may offer some level of solace, perhaps, they never take one to their spiritual goal. No, they cannot. They cannot. So, a saint, on the other hand, a true, genuine, divine, God-realized personality, his association, what does it do? It dispels all such confusion. And his association, what does it do? It clarifies and gives practical guidance on the most essential questions. And what are those questions? Who am I? What is God? What is God's nature? What is Maya? What is happiness? What is suffering? And all of this. And from the knowledge from these questions, as guided by the spiritual master, one does not need to sift through all those vast and complicated scriptures. No, we don't need to do anything like that. Because as the scriptures describe, as Goswami Tulsidas Ji has described, Shruti Puran bahu kahe upai, chute na adhika arujhai. So, reading and studying spiritual texts and sacred texts on one's own intellectual strength only leads to confusion. Confusion. That's all. That's what happens. It only leads to confusion. And these days, what are people doing? They are going to different preachers and teachers. And what's happening? They're overwhelmed. They find themselves overwhelmed by contradictions. One spiritual leader says this, another says completely something the opposite, and a third says something completely different, something completely unrelated. There is all this uncertainty that they have, and because of that, it makes it difficult for them to decide whom to trust. Whom to trust. And so these people, unfortunately, they spend their entire life in doubts. They're just confused, completely perplexed, and they're just completely steeped in doubts. And so what happens, they never pursue a spiritual path. They don't. That's what happens. When saints like Goswami Tulsidas Ji, Surdas Ji, Guru Nanak, Tukaram, when they were on this earth, we were present then too, all of us. And we heard their lectures, we marveled at their wisdom and their clarity. But instead of acting on their words, what did we do? We did not act on their words. We postponed our spiritual efforts. And we told ourselves that we would begin when we are age 25 or 50 or 70. And what happened as a result? Life passed by and death arrived while we were still delaying. That's what happened. That's what happened. So human life is an incredible gift by God. But this human life, it comes with an expiration date. It comes with an expiration date. Yes. It's great, but it's short and it's unpredictable. So the opportunity to meet a God-realized personality is a blessing beyond measure. And we must not let it go to waste. Yes. And so, instead of waiting for that right time, we should act immediately, instantly, and make that grace count. That's what we should do. So, receiving a human birth is grace. And encountering, meeting a God-realized personality is the special grace. There's one more that remains. And I will address it tomorrow during my second lecture. I'll leave you with these thoughts. Shrimad Sadguru Sarkar ki, Ladli Lal ki, Pyari Pyari Amma ki, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri